Hey everybody, today I want to introduce you to some of my favorite easy care, big impact annuals. And in order to make my list, they truly have to be easy to grow. That means no deadheading, no secret ingredient fertilizers, no special watering instructions, nothing like that. They just have to do well with minimum care. So these are the go-to ones for people who say they can't garden, or they don't have time, or they have trouble gardening or growing flowers or getting things to bloom. These are the ones that I recommend every time. So I'm going to start over here, right over here with this one, because this one is big and beautiful. So let me tell you all about it. So this is a Helianthus, or a sunflower, called Suncredible Saturn. There's also Suncredible Yellow, and you can see absolutely beautiful. And this thing gets huge. This is in what, a 12-inch pot right now. It's already this big, and it's going to get bigger than this. What I love about it is as these petals start to fade, this is the worst it's going to look, but quickly these shrivel and fall off, and then you end up with these kind of nice brown buttons in the center. And so you don't really have to deadhead it, because those are actually quite attractive even without that. So you can see just gradually by tomorrow, this one will probably lose all its little petals, but so easy to grow and so reliable. It's one of those that just keeps flowering all season long. Super big plant too. So like that one. Now let me show you over here. We have this blue one here is a Salvia called Playin the Blues, or Rockin Playin the Blues Salvia. Look at the size of that flower head. Like, that is enormous. And what I love about this one is that as these flowers kind of fall off, these calyxes inside are dark blue, and so even when there's no flower on them, they still look like they're blooming. So that's a really good one. And it comes this size, but this thing quickly gets very, very large. In fact, this is one of the largest annuals we carry. So I would say pay attention to that one. That's Rockin Playin the Blues Salvia. And then another salvia over here is Unplugged Pink. And look at the flowers on this one. They're almost two colors. So there's like a darker color on the outside, a lighter color on the inside, and then that calyx is that really dark kind of purpley red color. And this thing, once it started blooming, it hasn't stopped. And so it's a really nice one. It behaves a little differently than the Playin the Blues Salvia in that it's a little more mounding, but still a very large plant. Really, really nice. Works in baskets as well, and grows so fast and looks so good. Hummingbirds love all these salvias too, so I want to make sure you know about that. Another big one is right above it. This one here is an Argyranthemum, and this is the butterfly marguerite daisy. So you can see beautiful yellow flowers with a yellow center, kind of these feathery leaves on it, and this one gets giant. It gets these kind of a big, almost light bulb shape to it, and it's just covered in blooms the whole time. And these flowers kind of fade. You can snip them off if you want, but if you don't, they actually kind of just disappear after a little while. So another easy one. Another one to tell you about, it's hard to see in here. It actually is one of those understated ones at this point. It's a Gumphrena called Truffula Pink, and it gets covered in these little pink flowers. And don't underestimate this one, because right now it might look a little scraggly, but it quickly gets very, very large, gets covered in those little pink puff balls, and just looks really, really good. But it's a big plant as well. I also love the Cuphea Vermillionaire firecracker plant. This is the one that the hummingbirds love, and this one gets really large. In fact, I think, yeah, here I have one. This basket has one Vermillionaire in it, and look at how huge it gets. It's a true winner. And this one, the petals just fall off. You don't even notice them. So we absolutely love that one. Great impact on it. So super win-win there. The other one I can show you is over here. This is a surefire rose begonia. Now, all of the wax begonias, that's the pink one here, all of the wax begonias are good options because they can take sun, they can take shade, they're really good about watering and mist watering and behaving that way. And they come in pink, and then there's also red, and then like the dragon wing variety, and there's a whopper variety as well. But all of them have these really, kind of simple flowers, very, very nice. One thing I would warn you about this one is that these petals do fall on the ground, and you do notice them like on your porch or your deck. So some people don't like that about them. So that's its only downfall. Otherwise, this one is one of the easiest to grow, absolutely by far. Now, the other ones I want to tell you about are kind of what I'd call the nice additions when it comes to planting. So this one here is one of the most underrated plants out there. It's called Beth's Blue, and it's an Isotoma. And look at how it's this nice kind of puffy pillow shape, and it stays covered with these great blue flowers the whole season. You can see how many new ones are coming along, and those flowers just kind of fall off and disappear. You don't even notice them, and it gets a really nice size. You can already see it. It's kind of got a little bit of dense coverage in there, but it does still play nice with other plants, so you don't have to worry about it overtaking or doing anything like that. It just has this nice kind of cloud of blue stars on it. Next door over here is some creeping Jenny. This is that beautiful lime green foliage, great for spilling over the edge of a pot. Super easy to grow. It kind of just grows in sun or shade or anywhere you put it. And it is also a perennial in our area. So if you stick it outside in the yard, it will start becoming a little ground cover in different areas. So nice option there. These are 3 different Scaevolas or Scaviolas, depending on how you like to say it. These tend to take off more in the summertime when it starts getting hot, but you can see we've already got nice flowers on it. They have kind of this growth habit that's kind of like, I call it the gidget, where they go up and then they come down and then they kind of flow back up again. And so they do trail really nice. And so the pink, the white, and then there's actually 2 different blue colors. So this one is so easy too, and it's kind of a resurrection plant. If you forget to water it, and it looks completely dead, give it some water and see what happens in an hour, because it may be right back to normal faster than you think. And this is just a nice kind of addition at the bottom of a pot, and it behaves really well. It does what it's called burying its dead. It just kind of sends up new flowers, hiding the old ones. You never notice any spent blooms on these at all. This is another favorite of mine. This is lemon coral sedum. And this, you can see, it's kind of a bit of a succulent kind of plant. You don't have to worry about water because it kind of holds a lot of water. And then it's one of those that just kind of keeps growing and growing and growing. If it has one downfall, it's that it's a little too vigorous. Sometimes you just end up cutting it away, but you can hack it apart any way you want and it still kind of keeps going. So that's always a fun one. And then behind it is one of my favorites. This is a Euphorbia. And this plant is one of those that when you see it, you don't think too much about it, but it is a great filler plant. So it is one of those plants that once you put it inside of a different container with other plants, it fills in really nice. Like picture it with this Truffula. It's just gonna fill in any empty spaces, gives it a bit of kind of a confetti effect, and just it works really well with lots of different plants. So one of my favorites, but yet one that a lot of people don't even know about. And my last favorite is Coleus, because if you look here, this is the Color Blaze El Brighto Coleus. Look at the foliage on that. I mean, it doesn't really get flowers, but you don't need them when you have this much color. And all of our Coleuses kind of have these unique color properties, and they get quite large quite quickly, and they're just easy to grow. They don't like the cold at all, so you do have to protect them if temperatures start getting lower. And around here, that can happen right up until June or so. But otherwise, they're so easy to grow, and they just behave really well. This one is planted with some lemon coral sedum. Also have some sweet potato vine in there, some black sweet potato vine. So these are all plants that they're easy to grow. You can always stick something else in there, and the good news is that because these are going to do fine, even if the other ones don't, it's not going to make too much difference. But look at how this lemon coral sedum grows. I mean, it just kind of starts draping over the pot. And I just love all that green in there. Just really, really nice. Now there are some plants that kind of make my honorable mentions list, but they don't make the cut. Like one would be petunias. Those tend to be very, very easy to grow, but you got to make sure you get a variety that is self-cleaning. And then some of them just get too big or they don't play nice. They kind of overwhelm pots sometimes. But there are some really great petunias out there, but you just got to know which ones to get. So I don't add that one to the list. Bidens would be another one that is a no-brainer for growing, but it can be very vigorous if you get the wrong variety, and it can kind of overtake other ones, or it can kind of stay in a clump and not spread quite the way you might want it to. But I do like Bidens. It is very easy. And let's see, do I have any others? Oh, ornamental grasses. Those probably should be on the list. In general, they're very easy to grow. The only thing about them is that you do have to wait a little while before they start really putting on a show. Like if they have plumes, those tend to come really late in the season. So it is worth the wait. But if you have something going on, say in June, those grasses take a little while to kind of get up to par. So like if you have a graduation party coming up in June, and this is a question that I got this weekend, someone said, I just need to kind of up my game in the yard a little bit. I kind of showed them these bigger ones. Those are the ones that I call one pot wonders, because you really only need one plant per pot and you're gonna get huge impact from those. Put some of those in pots, and the nice thing about doing that is then you can move them around the yard to those spots that you need either color or you need to hide something, you know, like, oh, there's a water meter, let's just kind of put one of these Coleuses in front of it. And if it's in a pot, it's super flexible. Also means after the party, you can either put them someplace else, you can give them away, or do whatever you want with them. You're not committing quite as much as you would if you had a planting. A lot of times what happens too is you don't know which plants are gonna really outperform the others, and so you plant them and then you realize, oh, I wish I would have put this one over there and that one there. If they're in pots, you don't have to do that. So those are just my little tricks. The other thing I'm definitely going to suggest to you though is if you want these easy care annuals to do well, you do need to keep them watered. Now don't overwater them. They don't have to be dripping. Don't water them until there's water running out of the bottom. That's just making all the nutrients, you know, soak out the holes in the bottom. You're just going to keep them moist. So keep them regularly moist. You can tell a lot of times by lifting them up how much, if they need more water, or putting your finger in them. And if the top inch or so or more is really dry, then you start adding some water. But the other important thing is giving them the fertilizer that they need. So giving them a water-soluble fertilizer tends to be the best way to get the most blooms. If you get a bloom-boosting, water-soluble fertilizer like Miracle Grow or something like that, and then you just put that in there, easy and a good way to do it. But if you're one of those people who just never takes the time to do that, then I'm just gonna say, go get some time release bloom boosting fertilizer. Those are those little pellets, drop them in there as directed, and then every time you water, some of those nutrients will get in there. Not the best way, but for you lazy bones out there, it might be the only option you have to make sure that you get those maximum blooms and maximum color right on through to the end of the season. So thank you guys very much for watching. I hope this gives you some ideas, especially for those of you who have been struggling or you're just trying to find something easy, because this year you just want that part of the yard to be easy, or you don't want to have to work so hard, or you don't want to overwhelm yourself. These are plants to go with. They are definitely win-win as far as impact and ease of care. So go for it, guys. Don't be afraid of these plants. These are the ones that are going to be really good to you, I promise.